Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Untitled Tarot. Now these are your full moon general readings for the sign that's in the title below. As ever, bulk introduction, timestamp below, but listen to it just once through. Because I would advise that you listen to three of these. Your sun, obviously, your moon sign, because hey, it's a full moon, and your rising sign, as that's the most important to your story. And so watch all three if you've got the time. Now, this is full moon in Virgo, 8 degrees of Virgo. So I'm not going to talk long about the astrology of this full moon, because if you follow the link to the Facebook page to this channel that's in the description below, you'll notice that I've posted a lot of the astrologers' analysis and breakdown and weather forecast videos about this full moon, and they're going to do it better than I do. Also, there's an inbox on that page, so if you want to contact me directly for a personal reading, there's a good way to do it. But this full moon, 8 degrees Virgo, so this moon is ruled by Hariel, the angel Hariel, who represents in astrology long-range vision and purification, which is, I find, a very, very interesting symbol. Because obviously this is all on the backdrop of Saturn square Uranus, the force for tradition and rules and endings, but tradition and rules against the new, the innovative, the chaos elements that Uranus will bring through. So Saturn is ruling this chart like it did on the new moon chart, and I talked about that back in the new moon videos. Now Saturn at 8 degrees Aquarius is now being ruled by Nelchael, who, interestingly, is an angel about eradicating plague and an ardent desire to learn. So it's almost like the Saturn energy is like, yeah, this may be the way we've always done it, and we've got to stay in the way that we've always done it, but we've also got to learn to do it better in these limitations because it's not working. As simple as that. It's not working. Now, as I say, Nelchael or Saturn is ruling this chart, so we're looking at eradicating plague, which you can't deny the symbolism of that one at the moment. But what is interesting is, out of the chart itself, the most talkative angels are Sahalia and then Cahatel. Now, let me just check because I didn't write it down. Sahalia is ruling both Venus and Lilith, and Cahatel is, Cahetel, sorry, I should say, is ruling Pluto and Chiron, like I think Cahetel has been doing for a while. Now, the conversations that are going on here is Sahalia represents letting go and mental force. So it's eyes on the prize. That's where we're headed, and all this other stuff is not necessary. Whereas Cahatel is all about diffusing negative energy. And as I say, those are the two most talkative angels in this chart, theoretically, all subservient to Nelchael in this chart. However, they are pretty much talking to all the planetary degrees, all the other angels at the moment. So it's almost like the king says one thing and the advisors are going, are you sure? Are you really, really sure? Do you not think there's a better way of doing it? What if you think about this way? What if you think about that way? But I think there's a better way of doing it. And they're going around the royal court and they are building up support, or they're acting like the chief whip of a political party, doing exactly the same, drumming up the support. Have I got your vote? So there's also this is directed, or the spotlight of this conversation is the moon, Hariel, long range vision and purification. That's the agenda that they are putting on the table in front of Nelchael or Saturn. And it's really interesting because the moon is quincunx, or I should say, as Rick Levine would say, quincunx Saturn. So Saturn doesn't really know what the moon's on about at all. You know, it's almost like, yeah, newfangled stuff, not my thing. But it is necessary, and that's why we have the this influence of Sahalia with letting go, and then Cahatel just keeping everything calm, diffusing the negative energy. Yes, that's going to be awkward, but we can do it. And Sahalia, with their mental force, can go, hell yes, we can. Well, maybe not hell, they're an angel, but oh yes, we can do this. So it's really highlighting an agenda shift. Now, the astrologers will also have mentioned it's good for relationships, this full moon. Again, go and watch all the astrology videos that I've posted. I'm looking at it from the degree angels level, this is, it's like that tagline, things will never be the same again. We are setting the agenda for the new world. We have a new world. I've not heard that phrase, the new normal, so much recently, but there's still a lot of political agenda to try and make the old normal return. But let's be honest, it's not going to happen. It is a new world. It's a new world every day. Oh, I'm sure that's a song. But it's a new world every day anyway, but it is very much a new world. And Saturn, in its square to Uranus, in its quincunx to the moon, is, I'm almost seeing, desperately trying to hold things together, which I think is quite, yeah, look at the news. Saturn is definitely trying to hold things together, and at some points it's succeeding, and at some points it's fading. But the counsel of the angels here is to try and just let's make this process a bit easier. Now, what is interesting with Saturn as well is this, where have I written 8 degrees Aquarius? This is Spider-Man's Saturn. This is the Saturn on the first publication date when Spider-Man first hit the stands back in 1960 something, which I completely forget off the top of my head. But there is that message, with great power comes great responsibility. So Saturn is almost forced to accept that things have to change somewhere. And of course, Saturn is in Aquarius. It is looking more towards the future. It is looking to expand, to work with the community. Now, the symbols, after I'd figured all this out, I went and had a look at the various symbols for 8 degrees Virgo. And yeah, you'll have to forgive me. It's obvious I'm reading from the screen. So first we'll start with the inside degree, a man mixing cement. So we've got this image of, if you're mixing cement, you're building something, you're creating something. But the explanation of the image says jammed tight with concepts, thinking about what you are doing, interpretations, evaluations, opinions, and surmises, void of heart force, believing in progress, bent upon success. You strictly, rigidly carry out what the mind dictates. It goes a bit dark here. A form of ignorance that is very clever. Something missing in the soul. Compensations on top of compensations. Exceedingly busy, hyper with plans, projects, and enterprises. You're very good at achieving results. Riveted with to the phenomena, but prone to casting shadows that come back to haunt. So again, we see the reason for that influence of Cahatel, of the diffusing the negative energy, because everybody wants the world to return to normal really, really quickly. But that ain't going to happen, or at least the old normal ain't going to happen. But I love that, just that one image of the man mixing cement. This is the point where we start building. The new moon was, if I remember correctly, was all about finally integrating and starting to act on all the lessons that we've learned during the Capricorn cluster and 2020, which I think is very nearly ended. Well, or at least March 2020 has very nearly ended. Well, we may be in the 450th of March, but you know, we can see the turn of the page coming. Now, the Sabian symbol is equally as intriguing, and this one more encouraging. So the Sabian symbol is an expressionist painter at work. The interpretation saying about boldly breaking new ground. We must carve out our own path according to our own sense of who we are and what only we can do. Our right to be unique and our ability to express in this uniqueness creatively must be asserted. We must take it. It cannot be bestowed by a teacher. It is only the potential to be original that is a given in life. Originality itself must be assumed. Life is risky and we have to live with that. So again, there's that balance of, you know, with great power comes great responsibility, and the fact that things need to change. Uranus is going, oh yeah, change, change, bring change. But again, Uranus, that's its natural spirit. In Taurus, that change is not really as fast. Some astrologers say that Uranus in Taurus, it's almost like it's, yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. It's probably thinking about it wildly, but not going to do it. And then bam, that's where the lightning strikes, because it just can't hold back anymore. Now, there is a thing called seed degrees and fulfillment degrees that I've learned from a blog, John Sandback, I think his name is. But for this full moon at 8 degrees Virgo, the where things come to a head for whatever is stated here or set into motion here. So stated as in a natal chart, or set into motion as in, you know, just the mundane transit chart. The fulfillment degree is 13 degrees Gemini. So I rather think that that is a point to be watching out for when other planets come to pass 13 degrees Gemini. The other interesting things that I noticed, Mercury, 13 degrees Aquarius. This is and of course I'm going to talk about comics and magic. This is the Mercury of Grant Morrison. Now, if you are familiar with Grant Morrison as a writer, superb writer, really likes to put layers upon layers upon layers of what it is that he's putting forward. You know, whether it's his signature series, The Invisibles, which went really deep into all sorts of woo-woo, or just his time on the Justice League of America, where it was like big concepts that would stick with you and you'd still be thinking about them several days later. Also, Israel Regadi of the Golden Dawn, this is his Chiron. So without diving into the details of Israel Regadi's life, there's that opening for disciplined magical healing is what I'm seeing from that, because that's how I'm assuming Chiron can be interpreted within Israel Regadi's chart, or at least taking it out of his chart and looking at it with the rest of the world. So these readings, they are same as ever, by sign. It's the gods that play reading. We look at the gods that are supporting you during this period, and we look at the more archontic forces, or the gods that aren't really gods. Their energies designed to suppress you and keep you away from your glorious destiny, soul function, soul purpose, yes, soul function, which will be on the top row of the reading. it is a look at the energies. You can ask a question like I'd normally ask you to within your monthlies, but I ain't going to guarantee that there will be an answer. And again, like any form of tarot scope, it's either it makes sense to you and or it doesn't. And if it doesn't make sense to you, then it's probably not for you. This is a YouTube reading. I am not sat with you face to face. So it's either going to confirm what you already know, stroke success, suspect, give or take the influence of confirmation bias, or it's not. And if it's not, then you can probably ignore it. Or maybe just think about it and then forget about it unless something occurs that makes you go, oh, yes, we know a song about that. So obviously, like, share, subscribe, join the Facebook page, because that way it's a one-stop shop for all the astrology videos as well as my videos. And like I say, you can contact me there. Subscribing to the channel really does help the channel. Liking helps the algorithm boost the video. I'm sure you know the YouTube politics by now, so if you're so inclined, please do help my YouTube politics, or Google politics, as Chris Witecki calls it. That's everything. I've waffled long enough. Let's crack on with the reading. Cheers. Okay, Capricorn, first, my apologies, because you're only seeing a picture right now, as my mobile phone has stopped logging into ManyCam and talking to my computer for some strange reason. However, we'll carry on as it is. So, the gods who are trying to uplift you this lunar cycle, we start with Psyche, with Sacred Union, the Jade Emperor with Organization, Demeter as Mother, we have Sekhmet with Reduction, and Lilith with Equality. But the masks that the Archons try to wear to keep you suppressed, we have Perseus with Courage, Helios with Cycles, Water Nymphs with Feelings, Freya with Irresistibility, and Isis with Resurrection. Now, what I'm seeing on this, certainly on the Archontic row to start off with, is that something's coming round again. With Helios with Cycles, Isis with Resurrection, something is coming back to you, and it's not necessarily a good thing. There is that sense of, oh God, again? You know, this again? But there's a lot of complex feelings that come up whenever this thing comes up. However, the path forward that is being suggested to you by these gods is that there is something or someone that you can come together with in a concerted, nurturing effort, in a coming to terms that sometimes something isn't there and sometimes it is. If you think about Demeter's influence, yes, she creates winter every year when her daughter goes down into the underworld. However, she always makes sure that spring and summer comes along as well as her daughter returns. So she is fair. There is an element of organization and planning required for you, and that you are actually capable of, I think is another way of putting it, to deal with whatever this thing is coming up again. Because I do think there is this thing, whatever it comes up again, you know very well how you feel about it, and because you felt like this a long, long time. And I would ask you to question that, because how can you turn the feelings that you have about whatever this thing that comes up once again into a more nurturing way, into a way where you are accepting that those feelings are present but determined to move on from them at the same time? Because we have the moon clarifying the Jade Emperor here. So let's have a look what the tarot has said, because what I feel is whatever this thing that's coming up again, there's a knee-jerk reaction programmed into you. And And I'm wanting you to question that knee-jerk reaction, because I think there is a better way. And the better way will be obvious. We have Four of Chalices here, clarifying Demeter. So that there is guidance available for you to be able to enact that more nurturing aspect. And there's also the message of keep it simple. With Sekhmet, with reduction, keep it simple, because whatever this thing that's coming up again is, there is, and all the complex feelings that come up with it, which are, like I say, the knee-jerk reactions, underlying all of that, there is one feeling of love, affection, compassion. Whatever this is, it wouldn't irritate you half as much if there wasn't that underlying foundation of love and compassion. Knight of Chalices here with Sekhmet. And also, the fact is that a union takes work. Eight of Pentacles with Psyche, with Sacred Union here. And the story of Psyche is very much a story about trust. And ensuring that that trust is a two-way street. Because you can say that Psyche was at fault in the myth for going against Eros and looking upon him with the lantern to prove to herself that he wasn't some monster that had seduced her in the darkness. But there surely would come a point where Eros should have really said, hi, this is who I am. Now that we've built a relationship, now that we're together, da-da, here I am, I'm the god of love, you know, but I know that you love me for me and not just because of the fact that I'm god of love and I'm beautiful. You know, so trust is a two-way street. And with this Eight of Pentacles here, it's saying that that trust aspect, that union aspect, is something that is constantly being worked at here. So you have to remember that why that union is there. And yes, you are trying to bring two disparate, in any union, two disparate elements are being brought together. But the moon, clarifying the Jade Emperor, but as the god on your side, is showing that bringing the tame and the wild together for one singular cause. In this case, both howling at the moon. You know, there's one dog is wild, one dog is domesticated. Well, one wolf is wild and the other is a domestic dog, traditionally. So everyone's pulling together for one cause, and that is the underlying reason that must not be forgotten. So it doesn't matter if previous faults, previous mistakes, previous grievances are being brought to light once again. Okay, they happened. We know this. You were there. It's been and gone. That is not what is going on now. Not if you are going to fulfill the promise of this Lilith card and give equality to everybody in the situation. That includes, you know, equality for yourself, but you have to remember that firm underlying principle of however this all happened, it is built on love. And however we deal with it, we are trying to deal with it in our highest way. So Lilith here is clarified by the Hierophant. And rather than the, you know, that sense of tradition, I'm getting more that sense of strict. No, strict is the wrong word. Clearly defined moral parameters. I am going to stay within those moral parameters, and if we are forced by circumstance or forced by our feelings to step out, I'm not going to do it. You know, it will not allow that being forced to occur. We have from the Daemon Tarot, Furfa, who in the right circumstances will tell you the truth, but on first circumstances will always lie to you. So ensure, especially with this thing coming up yet again, make sure that the very fact it's come up yet again is not a lie. It's like as if you'd been told a story that hits all of those trigger points. And so it's, oh God, it's all this all over again. And quite possibly, no, it isn't. Not necessarily. And you have moved past this. It takes work. But this is what the 2-degree angel cards from the Oracle of Heaven and Hell are saying. We start with Menadel, who has been very active over the past full moons, new moons. Not in this last one, not the one today, but the past few, like around Christmas and what have you. Menedel's representing here inner and outer work, and followed by, if I can pronounce this correctly, Leuia, which would sound great sung by a chorus, but I'm not sure me stumbling over the word sounds so good, with fruition. So that also, with the fact that Menadel has been present for so long, makes me think that this, you probably already know what I'm talking about, and you have done a lot of the work. And so a lot of that inner work is now coming to be challenged because of this, it's coming round again. Only, are you sure it's coming round again? And if you've done that inner and outer work, you will see fruition. You can see that we're going, yeah, not doing that anymore. We are pulling together as a team. We are working together as a united front. Whatever this may be. I mean, it sounds very relationship, doesn't it? But it could be a work thing, a friendship thing. It could be just two individual voices in your own mind. Do you have voices, or is that just me? But when you're like, you hold two equally valid different points of view, and you're going, well, I believe in that, and I believe in that, but they don't gel. And here is a path to show you where they can and do gel, I think, is a good way to put it. Because we start with the angel of faith. I have faith that goodness and joy are mine now and forever. And this is why I was so led to remembering the foundation of this situation, whatever it is basically love. Probably an offer of love that was made and maybe later betrayed, because we're talking about a historical thing here. But it's the Knight of Cups that is the simple underlying foundation to this situation. And the highest goal, recognizing the equality that Lilith is representing here, is within those strict, clearly defined moral guidelines or virtuous guidelines, however you want to put it. So really, it's a matter of think for the best, because there's a lot of emotional knee-jerk reactions here that all that's going to create is that you go around the same path again and again and again. And it's not an unfamiliar path. You've been around it a few times before already. Why bother doing it again? Bring it to a new way. And that guidance with the Four of Cups, that guidance that says, this is the caring, this is the nurturing, or even you can look at it, this is the way that will bring abundance. If you think about Demeter's relationship with the Empress card, that guidance is there. So the solution has to be caring. And it will be a grand solution when it occurs. You know, you will get good results. We've got that fruition card at the very end. So if you've done the work, and if you're doing the work, and if you don't fall for that knee-jerk reaction, yeah, it's not happening again. Even if it looks like it is. So this is actually really positive, Capricorn. It's an opportunity for you to go, you know, actually, I've come a long way this last year. I mean, look at the astrology for you this last year. But with everything that's gone on this last year, I've come a long way. I'm really pleased for you, Capricorn. If it means anything to you, like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please definitely do comment back down below. It's always good to hear you. My apologies that it's not my full multi-screen flashy video, but once I sort the phone out or the app out or whatever is wrong, I will try and bring that back again. All right? Cheers.